record this and we're going to do that. Okay, so for those of you who are with me on the webinar where I would normally be looking at my camera, I'm watching my phone and another computer screen as well. So I'm not trying to be rude when I'm not looking at the camera and making eye contact with you. I just do need to keep my eyes going on many different platforms today. Alrighty, so what we are looking at right now is we want to understand iridology assessments, correct? That's why we're here. We want to do a better job, or maybe you're new to iridology, you want to understand how this works. When we do an iris assessment, there are 3 key things we have to identify right from the get-go, right out of the starting block. We have to identify the client's constitution, and we have done webinars on that in the past. We need to identify their constitutional subtype, and we need to identify their structural subtype. Truly, when you correlate those 3 sets of information with the client's health goals and with their current diet and their lifestyle, that is the foundation you need to understand how to craft a protocol for your client. It's the foundation you need to understand your client's chemistry, right? Their eyes don't tell us everything. Their eyes tell us predispositions. Their symptoms tell us where the problems might be. And when we add the eyes to all of this, the eyes with the symptoms, their diet, their lifestyle, we get a deeper understanding of where the client is needing help and how we can best help them. Does that make sense? Iridology is not a crystal ball. I can't look at an iridology and go, oh, you have, a 4-foot parasite in your brain. It doesn't work like that. We might see indications that the person is more prone to carrying parasites, but we don't see the parasite. Alrighty, so again, let me know that you're there. Let me know where you're from. It just feeds my energy to know I've got people watching live and interacting with me. So thank you for that. Without the base of knowledge of the constitutional type, the constitutional subtype, and the structural subtype, we actually have there's no use in looking for other markers. The other markers do not stand alone. They have to be integrated on top of the constitution, the constitutional subtype, and the structural subtype in order for them to be of any value. Even finding individual pigments is of almost no value unless we understand the constitution and the various subtypes. So important for us to understand these things, and because having this base of information is what informs the recommendations we are going to make to our clients. We're going to dive right in. I will introduce myself in a moment, but I wanted to dive in with a couple of cases right off the starting block. Now, for those of you who are with me on Instagram, I'm going to move my camera closer so you get a better picture, because when the camera is 2 feet away from the computer, you don't see much of anything useful, do you? All right, so there are several different subtypes by structure. There are 4 to be precise. We today are talking only about the connective tissue subtype, and we are going to be looking at several different examples of this, because even this subtype can look different based on the eye. Alrighty, so this is one of my clients. She's one of my, I call her a lifer, and I say that with love. She's been with me for at least 25 years now. When she first started coming to me, she and her husband then wanted to get pregnant. And so we worked on preparing them for pregnancy, worked on her fertility. She conceived, she had 2 babies. We saw her through her pregnancies, through breastfeeding. There were some challenges there. She's always enjoyed fairly good health. Her sister, on the other hand, has never had good health. Back 25 years ago, we worked with what we knew. When I saw her a couple of years ago, and my clients do that, they come in for 4 or 5 appointments, and then they've got a good base, so they go away for a few years. Then as their bodies mature and they're starting to have new symptoms, new things are coming up, they come back for 4 or 5 appointments, and we get them on track again. update their program. And so she had been away for a few years and she started coming back. And we took these fresh eye photos because the eye photos I have her were very old, and not that old is bad. We're not going to see changes in the irides themselves, but we'll see changes in the sclera. We might see changes in the cornea as well, but not in the irides. And so as we took these photos, I asked her the question, or I made the comment because I knew her well. I wouldn't make this comment to a new person, but because I know her well, and I know I can be direct, she wants me to be direct. I asked her, do you have problems with your connective tissue? And I'll tell you why I came up with that in a moment. And she said, funny, you should say that. I said, tell me why it's funny. And she said, well, you know my sister. Yes, I know your sister. So yours, she said, my sister has just had genetic testing done that revealed that she has a condition called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, which is a problem, a genetic problem where they don't actually repair collagen. They don't replace their collagen structure easily at all. And so because the sister has the problem, my client also got genetically tested and she has the problem as well. Now, she's not as severely affected, which is why she only got tested because she wanted to know if she could have passed this on to her children. What we see in her eyes is what we're looking for connective tissue is we're looking for a very disorganized fiber structure from the collarette to the limbus. And so she's got a very heavy lipemic diaphysis, but when we look for the fiber structure outside of the collarette, what we see, and even inside the collarette with these large lacunae, what we see is a very disorganized fiber structure. So when we see this, it again suggests that this person may not necessarily replace or repair their collagen really well. It doesn't mean they all have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. Okay, we aren't going to jump to that conclusion because that would be not accurate. It just simply means they may not repair their collagen as well as people who don't have this. Now, what does this mean? It means that with these people, if they are going to be engaged in athletic activities, it would be really wise if they were not involved in contact sports like football, rugby, soccer, things like that, where the chance of an impact and the chance of torn ligaments is significant. We would not want that for them because these people are not going to repair those kinds of injuries quite as well as someone who is not connective tissue. Here we have another example of a connective tissue subtype. Now notice how the fiber structure is really loose and it's messy. It's not nicely organized. Notice that she's got little lacunae that are not attached to the collarette. That can be another identifier here, right? Like this one here. And this one is not attached to the collarette either. Right, and so when we come to her other eye, and I'm going to make this other screen a tiny bit smaller so we can see these all the way. There we go. There we go. That's going to be better. Okay, and again, on her right eye, we've got lots of lacunae that are not attached to the collarette. We've got a very messy fiber structure outside of these. This is classic connective tissue. It's one of the classic ways this shows up. So when we see this, again, this person, because their connective tissues tend to not be as strong, they tend to end up with structural issues. So they might have scoliosis or a sway back as the ligaments aren't holding the vertebrae in good alignment. They might be more tending towards prolapsed organs, as the fascia that holds organs in place, or the ligaments that hold organs in place, depending on what organ we're talking about, may not be strong and robust. And if it gets stretched out of shape once, it may not retract properly. I'm thinking particularly of the round ligaments that hold the uterus, right? And so when we're looking at this, these people are not going to easily repair those kinds of tissues. Their ligaments and tendons might be a little bit sloppy. They might be more prone to strains and sprains, to accidental stretchings. Their tendons and ligaments might become loose and less supportive. They're also much more prone to herniations, varicose veins, easy bruising, and they will often snore at a very young age, right? Because snoring often is because the uvula, the little flap at the back of your throat, gets too lax and it can block the breathing passageways. And so if they are the connective tissue type, that uvula might get too relaxed at too young of an age, and they might snore as a young child. These people also tend to be wrinklier and jowlier. So Christina is asking, can we point it out again? It's not a specific one thing we're looking at. We're looking for an overall texture. So we're looking for, are there lacunae that are not attached to the collarette? And is the fiber structure in the ciliary zone nice and neat and tidy? Or is it woven and gappy looking? All right, so now that I've whetted your appetite and your curiosity, I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. And then we're going to look at several more cases and talk about them individually. All right, so my name is Judith Cobb. I am, amongst other things, which I will get to in a moment, I am an IPA Level 3 certified iridology instructor. Level 3 is a new level they just added in July. July is when we did our Level 3 training. I got into holistic healing over 4 decades ago because I had health problems that the medical world seemed unable or unwilling to give me clear information on. And it was just very opportune that at that time, I met a young man who knew a little bit about herbs, a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about iridology, a little bit about biokinesiology, a little bit about reflexology, a little bit about a lot of things, a little bit about a lot of things. That's a bit of a tongue twister. And he taught me what he knew. And then we fell in love, and then we got married. And then, even though we were in university, this holistic stuff was my passion. I was actually interested in holistic things, although I didn't know that's what it was called, even when I was in high school. So over the 4+ decades that I have been a holistic practitioner, a holistic professional, I've written many books. I've self-published and self-distributed them, things like Pregnancy Naturally, The Herbal Birth Kit Handbook, Healthy Kids Naturally, The Essential Guide to Nature Sunshine Products, Biokinesiology and Color Therapy Levels 1 and Level 2, and the Dynamic Iridology textbook. I've also created and taught courses to go with most of those books. We designed and taught Herbology Level 1, which was the practical use of herbs for in-home use. It was, when you go to the health food store, how do you know what to buy? And then, and really, what is it good for? We didn't talk about making things or growing things or dehydrating things. We just talk about buying the herbs ready made. And the students who did that 20-hour course, we taught that for many years, taught it 3 times a year to a full house of at least 20 students for many years. And then they wanted more. So we did a 16-hour course on how to recognize what to use a herbal combination for. So if you're buying a pre-made herbal combination and you look at all the ingredients in it, what else can it be used for other than what the company that made it said it could be used for? Designed and taught biokinesiology and color therapy level 1 and 2. For a few years, I was a certified prenatal educator, so I designed and taught prenatal classes. That was all through the International Childbirth Education Association. And in the last 5 years, I have started teaching. 5 years ago, I started teaching an IPA-approved Iridology course that meets the requirements for level 1 and 2, which is considered to be the core curriculum. And my course that covers all of that together, all of the core curriculum, is called the Dynamic Iridology Assessment System. So if you stay with me to the very end today, I'm going to share a bit of information about that, just a real short 2-minute commercial, because there is a course starting up in April for those of you who might be interested. Just as a side note, I am one currently of only 3 level 3 IPA certified instructors in the world. I am also a natural nutrition clinical practitioner and a member of the Canadian Association of Holistic Nutrition Professionals and the Canadian Association of Natural Nutrition Practitioners. And I'm also a master herbalist, and I'm a professional member of the Alberta Herbalist Association. All right, so just again, the next live course of Iridology, Dynamic Iridology, is starting on April 21st. If you are a health professional, so that could be a herbalist, a nutrition coach, naturopath, chiropractor, medical doctor, RN, and you're interested in learning Iridology to use with your clients or your patients, depending on your designation, stay tuned, because I do have a special invitation for you at the end of today's little workshop. If you're not a health professional and you don't have a solid base in anatomy and physiology, but you want to learn Iridology, and I'm here to tell you that you need anatomy and physiology in order to learn Iridology well, and in order to use it well, reach out to me. There's an anatomy course that I think is absolutely prime, and it is one that I don't even get paid commission for, and I don't teach it. I just believe in this course so much that I send people to it. So if you need an A&P course, please reach out to me, and I will send you the link so you can get enrolled and get that done. And once you've got your A&P under your belt, then we'll talk about getting you enrolled in the Dynamic Iridology Assessment System. This is what one of my recent graduates said. Joyce Lee, who is a certified esthetician, clinical aromatherapist, and a chartered herbalist and a nutritional consultant. I took an Iridology from another school a few years ago and was left feeling inadequately trained with no confidence in the material or my abilities to perform accurate assessments. Judith Cobb, on the other hand, is a wonderful instructor. She presents the material in this course in a concise, organized way. Every aspect of this Iridology course is covered in detail. She clearly answers every question asked, no matter how trivial the student may think it is. Judith structures the classes in a way that makes them incredibly interesting. Clarification is clearly established through her instruction, discussion, and student participation. Upon completion of Judith's course, I feel very confident in my abilities and excited to offer Iridology services to my clients. This course is an incredible value, highly recommended. All righty, now are you ready to dive in and look at some more eyes with me? If you are ready, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are still with me. A thumbs up or an oh yeah, something that lets me know, hello, that's amazing. I saw that hand raised on Facebook. Thank you so much. Here we go. Here is another connective tissue type. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that thumbs up as well. Amazing. Now you're going to see, oh, and the hearts. I do love the hearts on Instagram. So when I am looking at an eye, again, for connective tissue, we're looking for a few things. There may or may not be lacunae in the iris. But if there are lacunae, we want most of them or some of them to be not attached to the collarette. Okay, so you see we've got many lacunae in this eye that are not attached to the collarette. The other thing we look for is the fiber structure in the ciliary zone messy? Is it messy? So when we're looking, we can see here, for example, that the fiber structure is a little bit messy. So with this eye, it's not so much the fiber structure that is really messy. A little bit, we've got pockets of messiness. What we're really seeing more is that we've got lacunae of various descriptions that are not attached to the collarette. That is a huge indicator that teaches us that this person that this person is a connective tissue type of person. Now, again, these people need to be careful what they do with physical activity. Do they need physical activity? Yes, they do. they need to avoid contact sports. This client, for instance, does very well with yoga and with walking. She recently just did, I should remember the name of the pilgrimage. There is a pilgrimage in Europe that ends up, I believe it's in Italy, and it's hundreds of miles long. And she did the whole thing. Right? It worked so well for her. The walking just worked. Oops, didn't mean to hit that button. We're going to turn that off. Whoops, there we go. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to make you seasick there. So low impact things, lifting weights, but not so heavy that she runs the risk of tearing ligaments and tendons. Stretching, but not so much she runs the risk of tearing things, right? But she does need strengthening and she does need stretching. So people who have the connective tissue type, are more prone to fatiguing more easily as well. Now, unusual to see connective tissue in a hematogenic eye, only because with hematogenic, the pigment is usually so dense that it hides the fiber structure. Can you see in these eyes that we have many lacunae that are not attached to the collarette? We've got many lacunae that are just hanging out in the nether regions, if you will, and they're not attached to the collarette. So from there, with a hematogenic eye, we have to assume that what we would find underneath all this pigment is actually probably a very disorganized fiber structure. Okay, so again, when these people, if they have a physical trauma, if they break a bone, if they tear a ligament, or if they tear a tendon, anything like that, they are going to take longer to heal. They just simply are. These are the people that we would pull out every stop to support them in every way possible. We would send them to a good physiotherapist probably, or a good orthopedic surgeon if that was necessary, or help them get in touch with that. We would probably do essential oils topically if we could. We would do dietary work. We would add supplements. If you do color therapy, you might do color therapy with them. If you do ionic foot baths, you'd probably have them doing ionic foot baths. We would do everything possible. We wouldn't say, oh, well, this will be enough. We would really pull it all out and help them to give them every opportunity to heal. These people also often learn at a very young age that they have to take better care of themselves. Okay, let's have a look here. This is the last eye we're going to look at, I think. I think it's the last one in my deck. Do you see how messy that fiber structure is? It's not nice. It's not nice is really a judgmental word. Let me change that. It doesn't look like it was combed. Right? If it looked combed, if the fibers look literally like they'd been combed out, that would not be a connective tissue type. The fact that everything is tangled up in there and the fibers look very crisscrossy, she's got big sections where the fibers look almost woven. This is connective tissue. These people often don't feel great when they're younger. They often lack resilience, they lack stamina, they don't heal well if they become injured. They take longer to heal. It's a harder job for them to heal up. And so for these people, they often figure out really early on in life that they have a special set of rules. They have their own rules that they need to live by. And those rules will involve things like getting enough sleep, eating certain foods, probably avoiding certain other foods. These people do tend to be very warm and friendly. These are actually one of my daughter-in-law's eyes. And she's the one that she doesn't eat her baking, but whenever she bakes, she brings some over for us, right? Warm and friendly and giving and caring. Just a lovely, lovely person. Her joints give her problems. It doesn't take much for her to throw her knee out of alignment. It doesn't take much for her to injure her shoulder and take weeks for that to heal. We need to remember that these people, not only do they need to make good food choices, they're probably going to need some digestive support. They may not be breaking proteins down well enough to get the amino acids to rebuild their own collagen. They are going to need to avoid anything and everything that would compromise collagen. So smoking, absolute no-no, right? Because we know that smoking destroys collagen. Exposure to toxic chemicals. We really need to limit that here because toxic chemicals often destroy collagen and put other stress in the body. These people need to, because they don't repair collagen well, they should avoid overexposure to the sun. The sun damage that we get can really destroy collagen in the skin. They need gentle exercise. Exercise helps to stimulate repair and helps to stimulate good collagen production, but they need gentle. Again, yoga, walking, maybe swimming, maybe doing some weightlifting, but again, not with really heavy weights, and always being coached properly for form so they avoid injury, right? Can you see how her fiber structure is very messy? Is just the easiest way to describe it. If you see that messiness, give me the comment "I see" in the comments box. Excellent, Sarah. Excellent. Thank you for that. I'm glad you can see that. And so we're not going to go into what to do with these people. That sounds like we're going to, do something mean to them. We're not going to go into program creation for these people in this webinar because that is a very individual thing. It depends on your skills as a practitioner, what you have in your tool set. It depends on the client as well and what they are willing to do and what they're already doing. And so to necessarily do a program creation here is not a useful activity, but at least now you can recognize the characteristics, the common characteristics of a connective tissue type. In the scope of the Dynamic Iridology Assessment System course, we actually look at a lot of connective tissue eyes. We talk a lot about different options that you could consider in creating a program for them, and when and why you would consider those different options. We do quite detailed work on the subtypes. This is what one of my other recent graduates said. His name is Adam Zukowskis, and he's a naturopath and herbalist in the UK. Having had a comprehensive iridology training in the past, I can attest that the Dynamic Iridology course is well-rounded and covers all the necessary basics, embellished with the teacher's own experience and discoveries. The course is taught from up-to-date information, and it is clearly apparent how much work she puts into staying in the forefront of iridology research. The hidden gem in this iridology course is the ongoing support that Judith kindly offers, which I find to be an invaluable gift and resource. And what Adam is referring to there is that in the course, we have a private social media group. It's in the process of moving it off of Facebook. And when you're in the course, you have access to that group. After you finish the course, you have access to the group. And even after you have certified, if you choose to certify, you still get to be in the group. And we hold twice each month mentoring sessions for all of my students and grads to come back and ask questions if they've got them, and present cases that they need help with, and get mentored if they're preparing for an exam, right? So lots of support outside of the class hours that most students don't get, or most teachers don't give. The next course is starting on April 21st. It will be from 5 till 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. We've just gone on to daylight savings time here. I only accept 10 students in each go round of this course because I want to make sure that my students get the time they need to have all their questions answered. Early registration is open now. If you would like more details, if you're a health practitioner now, or if you've got a strong anatomy and physiology foundation, a good course under your belt, I encourage you to book a call with me at tinyurl.com/insight-call. And you know what? I didn't check that. I think I've changed that link in the past. So let me just make sure it is still working and that that's still the right one, because I would hate to send you on a wild goose chase. Just give me a half a second here. Oh my goodness. /insight. Oops. No, okay, we had a typo in that one. We will just change that. My apologies for this little delay. I want to make sure you've got the right information. Yeah, golden. Absolutely works. So this is great. So you can feel free to hop on a call with me there, and we'll talk about where you're at, why you want Hybridology. Do you have the right A&P foundation? And then if it looks like it's a really good fit, we'll give you an invitation to join us in the class. The Dynamic Iridology Assessment System is the only live, online, fully mentored course for nutritionists, herbalists, and naturopaths who want to streamline their clinical work without sacrificing client care. So they can stop working unpaid overtime to develop client programs, so they can stop overwhelming their clients with undoable programs, and so they can create programs that will increase client compliance and success and long-term client retention. It's exactly why I've got clients that have been with me, some of them for nearly 4 decades, right? So again, if you're interested in learning about the program, give me a call. The goal is to teach you constitutional iridology and how to use it confidently so that you can easily integrate what you already know about nutrition and herbology to confidently create doable client programs in your paid client sessions. Here's that link one more time. If you would like more information about the program, if you are already a holistic professional or a health professional and you've got a strong foundation of anatomy and physiology, book a call. If you don't have the A&P, shoot me a message and I will shoot you a link to the A&P course that you need. That is a brilliant course that will prepare you to do iridology. So with that, my friends, thank you so much for being with me today. I truly appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again in the very near future. Bye for now.